Thank you for that. Hello, everybody. The topic for the day is navigating digitally in a VUCA world. The agenda that we have for today is why a digital strategy is necessary in a VUCA world. What is the recommended approach that we should adopt to navigate ourselves in a VUCA world, and a case in point. Let's get to point number one, which is why a digital strategy is necessary in a VUCA world. Now, if you look at a VUCA world, it's all about customer. It's all centered around customer. So customer journey becomes a very, very vital part of the entire business landscape. And it's getting increasingly dynamic and complex. There are two touch points that a customer has throughout the journey of awareness to loyalty, as you can see in the middle of the slide. You have the physical touch point, you have the digital touch point. The lower half talks about the physical touch point that the customer may have throughout the journey of, from getting aware of a product all the way to engaging and continuing with a relationship with a product or a service, which ends at the loyalty point, right? And if you were to look at right from awareness to consideration to purchase to service to loyalty, each and every of these touch points play a vital role in decision making. The awareness, as you can see, public relations, radio, TV, print hoardings, word of mouth play a big role in increasing awareness from a physical touch point perspective. Similarly, if you were to look at from the digital touch point, online display, then coming to the consideration, clients or the customers search for data. They also get bombarded with paid content, which is very, very normal these days, and we have all experienced it. Email data, a landing page when we click on a link which is sent to us through emails or any other form, the moment we land on a page, the promotions associated with that gives us information about considering certain products or services. Similarly, customers are also connected with social media, and there are influencers who play a major role in changing the mindset or buying pattern of the customers. Then if you look at the purchase, in the offline mode, you have the direct mirrors or you have the retail store, EBOs and MBOs, which play a major role in making a purchase happen. And in the digital context, it'll be the mobile applications, the aggregator applications, WhatsApp, portal B2B or B2C, the marketplace. These play a big role in the purchase considerations. Similarly, if you were to look at from a service perspective, community and social media plays a big role in terms of the service delivery that any organization may be offering to the customers. Similarly, if you look at from a physical touchpoint perspective, call centers, chat, these play a big role in terms of giving a customer service and the quality of service that is provided to the customer. And then comes the loyalty, offer and invoices, which we receive from either the stores or even from the online purchases, the mailing inserts, the surveys that are conducted by the companies, the loyalty programs that are offered by the companies, the emails and notifications that we get through SMSs, and all the other types of offers that are sent to the customers. Now, given the fact that if the customer journey is so complex, it becomes very important that businesses are aligned with the dynamic behavior of purchase patterns of customers. A well-defined digital strategy and roadmap can really power an organization's business ecosystem towards an accelerated and sustainable growth. First and foremost, responding to changing market needs is key, and how well we respond to such changing market needs is very, very vital in terms of the way we establish ourselves in the market. Hence, it is important to focus on product and service delivery models, and that's equipped with the right mix of automation, governance, and predictability. The one that responds to changing market needs and customer preferences almost on a real-time basis and in a sustainable way. The second point that comes to my mind is about designing and implementing technology that's linked with business strategy and goals. Right? So, given the frequent and fast digital disruptions all around us with cutting edge innovations, it's important to remove confusion on what's the right design and technology to build for the business to meet immediate and long term business goals for a sustainable leadership, not just fundamentally, but also financially. One question that comes to our mind is when is the right time? Who can navigate me to my next? And quite often, technology implementations are reactive and ad hoc in most of the organization. Given the need and immediate need, people are, in different departments, they pick up certain initiatives and just go behind it. What's the opportunity cost? Probably has not been thought through. Why implement for one function and deprioritize another? Many folks would not have an answer to this question. And what are the implications? Is it mandatory as digital assets nearing end of life? Am I forcibly married to the technology and have to keep upgrading to newer versions and maintenance? I'm actually puzzled as hounded by OEMs, don't have a trusted partner to advise on what's the right step. Then comes the part of the technical debt that we were just talking about earlier, and the RER, which is rationalize, enhance, and replace, and the ROI. An effective digital strategy identifies and recommends the right technology footprint through rationalizing the landscape, enhancing existing capabilities, or replacing an approach that not only fits within your current landscape, but also maximizes returns on such investments and reduces the total cost of ownership. And last but not the least, you need to build a digital competency for tomorrow, today. Digital strategy recommends initiatives that will empower leaders and managers to build future competencies needed to sustain growth, be zero distance with customers and third parties such as suppliers, dealers, retailers, and whatnots, so as to differentiate and lead. Let us look at the recommended approach in order to execute a digital strategy and have a sustainable leadership in terms of a digital transformation. A three-phased approach is recommended to achieve the strategic objective. Phase one is digital strategy, where you would typically assess gaps and recommend to-be digital capabilities which are aligned with the leading practices and also the future anticipated capabilities required by the organization, which will then help provide a high-level execution roadmap. Once a digital strategy and roadmap exercise is done, phase two is the logical next step where you would want to finalize the solution and identify an implementation partner. Phase three is the logical next step in terms of designing and implementing the initiatives that had been earlier recommended and adopted by the organization. Let's look at a case in point for phase one, which we talked about as part of the digital strategy and roadmap. It encompasses three key stages. One is an assess and envision stage. The second is define. The third is implementation roadmap. So what do we typically do in assess and envision? We need to assess the as-is capabilities against leading industry standards or the futuristic capabilities required to stay ahead in the market, and in terms of the capabilities, to define the to-be capabilities. The typical deliverables in this stage of the program would be a capability maturity assessment report, which will provide gaps to industry leading practices, be it in terms of process technology or in terms of the competencies, and which will help in providing a blueprint for to-be capabilities. When we come to the define stage, We need to also associate each of the 2B capabilities identified with some form of value realization. When I talk about value realization, it is about how is this initiative going to impact my business? Can I have a tangible way of measuring success? And that becomes a very important point in terms of decision making, whether or not this initiative is really going to be key for the organization. Then comes the implementation roadmap, which is all about developing a high level roadmap to logically implement initiatives and realize ROI. Typical deliverables in this phase would be solution recommendation and a high-level fit gap with uh, any application or infrastructure or security-related solutions that we would have recommended. A good way to look at it is to draw the entire plan and lay it out in a data flow diagram across the enterprise as to how each one of these application systems, infrastructure, and security services are going to integrate and work in tandem with each other, including the analytics and data architecture. This helps in then providing a logical implementation roadmap, which is what leads to phase 2 of the program, which talks about finalizing the solution and the implementation partner to take it to phase 3, which is all about designing and implementing the initiatives. So when we were talking about assessment, digital maturity assessment is key. In case of a digital maturity, no two functions within the same organization may be at the same level of maturity. So looking at stage 1, it is very, very important to see how visible is each and every part of my business function. So then it becomes very important to enhance the enterprise visibility. So the first and primary objective should be to align the applications and infrastructures and processes to eliminate interdepartmental frictions and silos within the organization and enhance the visibility. Stage 2 would be about connected supply chain. Once we have enhanced the visibility, if we are using our system to the optimal way, the second logical next step is to integrate and connect the systems with each other, not just within the organization, but also with the third parties in the ecosystem, sharing a single version and source of truth. The third stage talks about automation and data-driven decisions. Now that we have a connected intersystems, increasing automation of systems can help in faster turnaround of insights and insights to actions. And once we have achieved that, predictive capabilities become the norm of the day, moving from an integrated and responsive system to a predictive one via artificial intelligence or machine learning, advanced analytics to anticipate demand early on for a competitive advantage. And as you can see here, the 4 dimensions that typically are assessed is one around process and controls, the organization, because ultimately it's all going to be driven by the organization and its people, and the KRAs, the way they have been defined, are they aligned towards achieving what we have set forth? In terms of the technology ecosystem, the digital leaders in this space, solutions as a service to shorten the time to market, and then the decision-making construct, which is about the data analytics, master data, and the reporting and business insights. Here is one quick snapshot which talks about how you would want to associate any initiative with a financial goal such as reduced cost. If I look at one of the example in reduced cost, suppose if I'm running a manufacturing company and I have to reduce the overhead, one of the factors of overheads could be utilities cost. Within utilities, it could be reducing the maintenance cost or optimizing my consumption. If I were to reduce my maintenance cost, it is possible that I may not have any mechanism for predictive failure alerts. Hence, it becomes very important to have an improved availability of information and analysis for for decision support and benchmarking based on historical maintenance, data, past breakdowns, issues, performance, resolution bottlenecks, etc. And the recommended initiatives to be implemented would be predictive maintenance. And this is a part of an Industry 4.0 initiative. And that is where Industry 4.0 comes into being, which automates and smartens the supply engine to serve customers in a consistent manner. So what you see here is the cyber to physical interconnect. On the left-hand side, you see a cyber physical system, a seamless interoperability, and advanced automation and control, big data processing and analytics, smart applications and services, which is the new business model. In the center, what you see is that you could have a plethora of devices, systems, and subsystems within your shop floor. Now, these could be interconnected or could be running in silos, but how would you see that in an integrated fashion? The flow of information could be very much isolated. Hence, it would be recommended that you would want to have a manufacturing execution system or a decision control system on top of the unit assets. On top of the manufacturing execution system and decision control systems, you may have your system of records, which is the ERP, which will connect with the MES and which in turn connects with your equipments, systems, and subsystems. And the ERP powers the supply chain in terms of order and fulfillment, which goes and connects with the outer world in terms of the third parties, whether it's the customers or the suppliers, dealers, distributors, and whatnots. And this drives efficiency across and in sharing benefits with the customer. So if you look at the 4 dimensions that cover majority of the aspects associated with Industry 4.0, these 4 dimensions become very, very important to look at. One is maintenance efficiency, the second is operations efficiency, the third is information efficiency, and the fourth is energy efficiency. And each one of them can drive significant business value in terms of increasing the equipment lifetime, in terms of increasing the operational efficiency, in terms of saving in business expenditures, and in terms of reduction in energy consumptions. The figures that you see on the bottom, the source of it is from the findings or the joint study that Infosys had done along with academic university based out of Germany at the State of Nations. And this survey and study was conducted across 50 organizations across the globe. Now, in order to build a business digital ecosystem, it is very important to see the end state that we have in mind to achieve. A business digital ecosystem that's scalable, on-demand, smart, and customer-friendly. So you have a system of record, could be your ERP. Then you have your systems of engagement, which the ERP connects with. The transportation management system, the B2C e-commerce, the notification that goes out, the help desk and complaints management, or the B2B e-commerce if I'm dealing with my third-party partners. Now, these could again be interacting with the systems of interactions, such as workflow or document management systems, Salesforce, CRM, master data, planning, and whatnots. Now, the entire ecosystem needs to be maintained and managed in a very smart and efficient way. And the leading edge technologies such as AI ops, CMDBs, or the polycloud ecosystems can do a very smart and real-time management of information flow and computation, storage, and maintenance to ensure that systems are working real-time 24/7 without any latency. And last but not the least is the systems of intelligence, which again connects with all of these systems and provides data which can be used for decision making almost on a real-time basis. Now, to conclude, what is recommended is that in order to maintain and to anchor growth and sustainability in a VUCA world, we need to define the vision and mission and create a positive employee satisfaction, because happy employees create happy environment and happy product services and happy customer. Knowing your customer becomes very, very important. Features that enforce your brand promise across the spectrum of the supply chain. Building your technology stack, which is geared towards delivering the product and service delivery. Defining your KPIs to assess customer experience, and measuring your return on investment and business impact. Now I'm open to questions if you may have. Thank you.